procurements. So basically the departments determine their needs and we facilitate the procurements and help them get through the process and get these contracts executed. So I'm going to be taking care of walking through the projections since it will be since this falls in line with our stuff on what's upcoming and just things for y'all to keep an eye on. And then I'll walk through a little bit of our website just to make sure that y'all are familiar with it and can utilize the resources that we have available to you. Quickly though, I'll ask Bethany or Grace, did y'all want to do introductions or do you want me to just jump in?
We can do introductions of the procurement staff, sure.
Yeah, just so everybody has an idea of who's here and who's who.
Sure.
So I'll go ahead and start with my team and bear with me because I've got 2 screens worth of names, so I'm going to try to make sure I hit everybody. We'll start with Karen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Karen DeLuca. I work in the Office of Procurement. I'm on the operations side. I'm one of 3 section operations managers, and I am happy to be here today and answer any questions that you may have.
All right, and Nola.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Nola Song. I'm the other one of the other section managers, and I handle the Department of Health and Human Services, our technology department, and also our Housing and Community Affairs department. Thank you.
Penny.
Hi, this is Penny Karkaya. I'm with Bob Norris, Team Manager 2. Predominantly, my portfolio includes Department of General Services Facility Management in the Division of Central Services. Thank you.
Michael Shaw.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Scholl. I'm a procurement specialist. I'm the buyer for the Community Engagement Cluster, the Office of County Attorney, the Circuit Court, and the County Council. Thank you.
Brianna Olin.
Good morning. My name is Brianna Oland. I am a procurement specialist working on NOLA Song's team. I manage about half the contracts with our Technology, Enterprise, and Business Solutions department, as well as the Division of Behavioral Health and Crisis Services within our Department of Health and Human Services. Thank you.
Bob.
Good morning. I am the 3rd operations manager in the Department of Procurement. Me and my team handle Department of General Services, which consists of fleet management, facilities, building design and construction. We also handle all of the public safety contracts, which include police, sheriffs, Department of Corrections, libraries, permitting services. Glad to have you here with us. Thank you.
Zahan.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Zahan Hassan. I'm a procurement specialist too in the Division of Operations on Team 1 with Nola Song. I manage Office of Grant Management contracts and as well as Health and Human Service contracts, especially for the Division of Director's Office, Office of Community Affairs, Chief Operating Office, and Service to End and Prevent Homelessness. Thank you.
Eric Haugen.
Good morning. My name is Eric Haugen. I am a procurement specialist 3 on team 2, Bob's team. My portfolio includes all of the Department of Environmental Protection and the Division of Building Design and Construction contracts within DGS. Thank you.
Jing.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jing Chen. I'm the procurement specialist 3 in team 3 with Karen DeLuca. My portfolio is focusing on Department of Transportation, including DOT Transit Services, DOT Transportation Engineering, and the property acquisition for DOT. Thank you.
Zoe.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Zoe Pollock. I'm a procurement buyer on Karen's team, primarily working with the Department of Recreation.
Brianna Stroman.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brianna Stroman. I am a procurement specialist 2 under Team 1 with Nola Song. My portfolio consists of technology, enterprise, business solutions contracts, as well as public health service contracts with the Department of Health and Human Services. Thank you.
And Calaria.
Morning, everyone. My name is Kalaria Bassi, and I'm a procurement specialist 2 with Bob Norris. My portfolio consists of the Department of Agriculture, Public Libraries, Permitting Services, and the Office of Food Systems and Resilience. Thank you.
And Michael Grieve.
Good morning. My name is Michael Grieve. I'm with the I'm on Karen DeLuca's team, and I work with the Department of Transportation, Highway Services, and I work with knowledge transfer contracts. And good to have you all with us today. Thank you.
All right. I think that's it for my group. Grace, I'll shift it over to you if you want to run through your group.
Thank you. Good morning, Grace Dennell. I'm a division chief in the Office of Procurement. My division is called Business Relations and Compliance, and we manage contract compliance programs such as local, small, minority, female, disabled, veteran-owned businesses, preference programs, as well as wage compliance laws. Also the outreach to vendor communities and internal, external education procurement compliance programs. With me here under my division, we have Bethany, who has introduced herself earlier. She is the host for these open houses. And then next, please, Michael Brown.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Brown, and I manage the local business programs here in Montgomery County Office of Procurement with the Division of Business Relations and Compliance. So all the local business programs, local small business reserve program, local business preference, and also the local business subcontracting program I manage. Welcome.
Thank you, Michael. Pat.
Good morning. My name is Pat Scheid. I'm a program specialist, and I provide technical support for our county vendor registration system, and also any questions you might have about how to renew your certifications, and general support to the team.
Thank you, Pat. Next, Alvin Boss.
Thank you, Grace. Good morning. My name is Alvin Boss. I'm the program manager for the Minority Female Disabled Owned Businesses Program, Office of Procurement in the Division of Business Relations and Compliance. Our program is designed to assist minority firms in gaining access to contract opportunities, either as a prime contractor or participating with prime contractors as a subcontractor. I'd like to welcome everyone to our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. And Stephen.
Good morning, everyone. We want to thank you for attending today. Thank you for your time. My name is Stephen Noguera. I manage the county's prevailing wage law, which covers our construction contracts as well as our mechanical services contracts. And I'm going to go ahead and drop a link in the chat so that you can find our contact information for any one of us under Grace's team under the Division of Business Relations and Compliance. Please feel free to reach out to us after the meeting if you want to learn more about our programs. Thank you. Enjoy the meeting.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I just realized my camera wasn't working earlier. That's all the staff we have under Business Relations and Compliance Division. Now I'm going to move to Sharonda Baltimore, who is the other division chief of the office.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to close out intros with Central Services. This is the division that I manage, and our primary responsibility is to provide service to the other two divisions. So we handle IT functions, budget, customer service, and public information requests. I have a few folks on my team. If you wouldn't mind getting on camera, introducing yourselves, we'll start with Tanja.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Alrighty, good. So my name is Tanja Monroe. I am a procurement contractor. I work with Ms. Sharonda Baltimore on various projects. I'm currently assisting with technical support for the CVRS County Vendor Registration site. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanja. Let's jump over to Sean.
There we go. Good morning, everybody. My name is Sean Dennehy Bailey. I am a compliance and operations coordinator. I work with Sharonda, and I handle most of the Maryland Public Information Act requests coming through our office. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Larry?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Larry Farr. I work as a record operations coordinator on the customer service team under Sharonda Baltimore. I also assist with processing and referring public information act requests as well as performing like basic IT procedures. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. And David, I believe you're here. If so, can you introduce yourself? Actually, you know what? I don't see him. Melissa, unless he pops up in the next 5 seconds, we're going to turn it back over to you.
Nana's here.
Oh, Nana, I missed you. I'm sorry. Nana, go ahead and introduce yourself. My apologies.
No worries, Sharonda. Morning, y'all. Nana here. I am one of the IT specialists working under Sharonda. Particularly primarily what I manage is working through the YODA system, which helps with our procurement process, but I also help as needed with other IT functions in the office, and just helping to have things run along.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. So hopefully that helps give you all a little idea of the names you see on our website and putting a face with those and who may be involved in the different aspects of procurement that you may be interested in. Please feel free to reach out to anybody if necessary. All of our contact information can be found on the website. We do have a list of contract administrators relative to their portfolios, so that can be that can be found on the website as well. But without further ado, I will share my screen and walk you through how you can get to the projections page. Sorry. That screen. All right. And I'm going to assume you can all see my screen now in case if somebody wants to confirm that for me. But all right. So if you go to our website, this is our homepage. There are a couple of different ways you can get there, either going to vendor resources and then down in the listing, you'll see view projections. You can access it from that point, or you can go to solicitations and look up formal solicitations, and then it will be there. So both of those links take you to the same spot, but this is our projections page. There's a little bit of information on what all of this is, what it means, how to look for it, etc. I will note a couple of things here. For instance, the links that'll take you directly to registering your business. That's a key component of, even if you want to do business with us, please just go ahead and get registered if you are not already, because that just helps you along, because we cannot do business with anybody who's not registered. The link for the contract search engine, I will just advise that if you go to that to find any contract information relative to existing contracts that may be, maybe there's a new solicitation coming up in the future and you want to get an idea of what's on the existing one. If you go to that search engine, you'll be able to track down what it is you're looking for, but you can just send an MPIA request to our MPIA group and they would be able to get you any documents you need for that. With the understanding that there are confidential documents, so be aware that while you may ask for everything, you may not get all of the information you need, because there is confidential information that is proprietary to different vendors. Therefore, it does go through a redaction process, more specifically to the RFPs. But, and then also this has a link to take you to our active solicitation listings, because this page is all about what's coming, right? So it's not what is active, and I'll walk through that web page in just a little bit, but this one's what's coming up. Here's a little bit of information on the search criteria, so that if you kind of know a more focused thing that you're looking for, you can set it up where it just filters. But ultimately, coming through the list, this is made up of solicitations that have been put on our radar, is the best way to say it. So we may be interacting with the department now on a solicitation. Maybe they submitted it to our office. Maybe it's an active draft form and we're working back and forth with them. But it just means it's on our radar that it's something coming up, but we aren't sure exactly when that's going to be posted. And to be totally honest, if it's going to be posted, there are plenty of times that there's an anticipated thing for it, but maybe the budget's not there or whatever, and it ends up not getting posted. But this is at least a way for us to advise y'all that, hey, it's been on our radar, so it's coming up. It may not be active now, but if you see it, keep an eye out if this is something you're interested in. What we do ask from the department, you'll see that it's not on all of these, but if the departments have any general idea as to what may be coming up and when, we'll give the estimated date of issuance, but it's not going to be found on all of them because, again, a lot of this stuff is in draft form still. It still needs to go through multiple levels of review and approval, etc. So, but just to give you an idea, again, you can search it by department. You can search it by department if there are certain departments you're going to be working with. If there's anything with local small business or local business reserve programs and stuff like that, then you can search via that identifier. But just to give you an idea, another thing, because I'm looking at the first one and it's making me think of something else to note to y'all. Even if you're familiar with certain departments, it's worth your time just glancing through the description of any and all of the ones that may be on projections, or even the ones that are posted active now, because while you'll see this is a community engagement cluster, this is for landscape management, right? So if you're used to dealing with, I don't know, DOT or DGS on landscape stuff, yeah, that's the typical group that would have it. But community engagement cluster is a smaller department, smaller office, but they do have those needs for their urban district specifically. So just make sure you take a gander at everything and not just lock yourselves down to specific departments just because of familiarity. But so you'll see that we have some landscape management services. There's an arts entertainment management and program services where it's going to be marketing and specific to the arts programs that they have. There are some, so this set right here, I think there are 6 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 of them. This is our trash removal contracts. So that is now on the radar, and that will be coming up for solicitation soon. We've just been notified about these. So those are on the very front end of development and draft. But that's through DEP. Dam monitoring equipment, another one through DEP. Scrap metal collection services. I mean, you'll see that we have a whole slew of different industries here. Accounts payable, forensic software, the safety management system, that is where they're maintaining a software that it manages the safety data sheets and safety information for all of the risk management. Risk management is in finance, so I don't know their whole world, but it's for their safety data sheets and their safety reviews that they have to do for procurements and different uses of things across the county. With DGS, you have the expected things like the HVAC systems, bus wash improvements. That's something where their bus wash facilities that they have to take care of, the inspection and testing for different facilities. That's on their construction projects where any inspection and testing needs to be done. They would, they're getting, I believe, going to be a multi-vendor. Construction management, I think a lot of these are general services, again, falling in line with what you would expect are general services, inspection, testing, maintenance of the various facilities, etc. Smart vending machines. So this is for medical supplies. I think this might be a new one. I'm not sure, but that is with Health and Human Services, and then you've got some with Department of Transportation, parking citation processing, snow removal. Yeah, I know we just got done with snow, but they're preparing, and I have to appreciate them for that, to be ready for the future snow seasons. Bus stop shelters. This is something that I know is not a new service, but it is a newer contract they're putting out because it's a little bit different than the way they managed their contracts before. So if this falls in line and maybe you didn't get a chance in previous opportunities, take a look at that one, because I do know that it is a little bit different than the previous one. Transportation management consulting, tree planting services. I know that's a big one. When I say a big one, it's very important to the highway services group, because we have a vast tree planting program. With police, this maintenance, repair, and installation of physical security systems, that is a big one for them that is going out. Please, if you are in this realm, I do know that they've made a lot of updates to this. It's going to be more comprehensive. So if you're in this realm, please familiarize yourself with the new solicitation that's coming out, because I do know that it's been built up a little bit with more information to hopefully get more comprehensive responses. And then you've got the TEBS one here for video streaming and legislative content management services. So that's all the stuff that gets recorded in council sessions, etc., and the management of all of that information. So that's a rundown of what's out there for that we're aware of that's coming up. As for what's out there now that's existing, I'm going to run through that for you, and I'll walk through, again, how to get there. So if you're on our homepage, you go to solicitations and contracts. There are multiple different options here. There's formal solicitations, which falls under the IFB and RFP, because that's $100,000 or more. So that's why they're formals. And then you have your informals and opens. Informals are a threshold from $10,000 to $100,000, and the open solicitations are exactly what they sound like. It's just posted. It's open until the resources are filled. So it's a competitive process relative to anybody and everybody can do it, but we set the rates. We stipulate the scope, and then if a vendor it can provide services for those needs, then you can submit a application and be considered for a contract. So a lot of open solicitation, well, I'll show you in a minute, but anyhow, let's start with formal solicitations. Just be aware that we do have a handful of things out right now, and a lot of them do close within the next week or so. So if you haven't looked at this lately, please jump in here, take a look at what's available to you as opportunities. But this is where you'll find that information, and just walking through like what you should look for. The link on the left-hand side will take you to more detailed information as to who you can contact. How do you get to BidNet to download the solicitation? But then if you just want a quick and dirty summary of what the solicitation is about, we do have this small snippet that gives you just a general rundown of the scope, so you can look real quick and be like, oh, that's not me, and move on, as opposed to downloading the whole solicitation. But so, like I said, we do have a handful of things that are out right now. Take a look right now. I think, yeah. So a handful of them are closing within the next week or so. But take a look there. That's how you get to our formals. If you go back to the solicitation and contracts, you can go to the informals. One thing about these that's different is both informals and opens, while we advertise them on our website, the links ultimately go to wherever the departments are housing them, because these procurement methods are predominantly managed by the departments, while we are involved in the processing of them, the execution of them, etc. The majority of the process lies with the departments in the management of, the posting is on a website of theirs. They receive the proposals and everything. So it's a little bit different than what you would go through with formal solicitations. But here are some informals. Again, these are threshold of 10,000 to 100,000. And then open solicitations, it could be any dollar threshold, but it's ultimately the department saying, I have a high need for resources for all of these things, so we're going to leave it up there. If for any reason they ever get to the capacity that they need, they may take it down. But for the most part, these pretty much stay up here. We do ask them to try and do some updates to them. So you may see in the near future that some of these are getting updated to at least get them up to like new general terms and conditions and stuff like that. But they stay up here. A lot of these have been long-term things, and it's always resources they need. And you'll notice a lot of it is health and human services. So if you're in that world, this is a page to focus on and meander through those to see if there's something you may be able to provide services for. Okay. That's where you'll see active solicitations. I'll stop there real quick and see if there are any questions in general about the projections, how we get that information, or anything with active contracts, or not contracts, active solicitations, because I haven't been able to pay attention to the chat. So,
yeah, there are some questions in the chat. Some of them are getting answered in the chat.
Okay.
Do you want me to ask? There are some that are unanswered, though. Do you want me to ask them now?
Yeah, go ahead. And then I'll walk through the webpage a little bit more after.
Okay. It says, do you keep plan holders or interested bidders list for your bidding projects?
I'm going to make an assumption of what you mean by this. If you want to unmute yourself to explain if I'm completely missing the mark, that's fine. But
Melissa, this is Karen. I answered it in the chat. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think they're just asking for the bid holders list. And I said for IFB and RFPs, they can email the procurement specialist. That's what we've been doing.
Okay.
Emailing them out, because I don't think vendors have the access to them in BidNet, but the buyer can provide that.
Thank you. Then.
Yeah, no problem. There's a question in between where I answered, and I think that's why it got missed.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Did that answer your question, Lynn? If you could do a thumbs up or unmute.
Bethany, it's Beth Wong here. I have a question. So on the projection side, while I assume this is not yet published on the solicitation tracker, that said, with your projection, can we speak to the program people in this? And can you guys be a conduit? Let's say I request, I'm interested in the EPA environment, okay, and it's not out yet, but I want to know more in terms of, like what the scope, what the requirements, what's all those things. Is that something, possibility that the procurement can coordinate that, or I can speak directly in that department, someone that I can reach out?
So unfortunately, no. By all means, all the research you can do through their website, what their current program is, etc. If it's something that's been ongoing, you can look at old contracts. We'd be happy to help you get copies of old contracts. But the discussion of what an upcoming solicitation is going to contain, that we can't have between the departments and vendors, just because everybody needs a fair shot at the information that's going to come out. So until that is publicly posted, it's not something like we oftentimes have to explain to the departments, unfortunately, they're not able to talk to vendors about, well, this is what's going to be on there and this is what we're going to need, because it's an unfair advantage to some that others may not get. The same reason why we, any questions that are asked during the posting period, we make sure that it's publicly answered so that everybody gets benefit of that, etc. So I would not recommend reaching out to the department and trying to get that information. But again, the existing contracts, and if this is an ongoing program and it's just a recompete, then all of the old contracts are there that would have the same scope and information. I will say though that one thing that I do try to make sure is that if a department does have a new program coming out or it's a new contract that nobody's familiar with, I ask them to hold pre-submission or pre-bid meetings so that people who are not familiar with it can ask questions there and get a little bit more insight and detail, because at that point it has been posted, everybody's been able to take a look at it, and then there can be additional conversation at that point of, can you explain to us a little bit more what you mean by this, etc.
Or maybe if I would suggest, Melissa, thanks for that response. Especially when it involves multiple awardees, like from the general, architect, engineering, all those things. Perhaps an industry day would be ideal for the vendors, not only the pre-bid, okay, but at least, what's the mission, what's going to be what they're looking for. And then of course, once they kind of finalized all their requirements, that's when the pre-bid. But at least we want to know for FY 2027, we want to know what is the mission of this new department, not new department, but rather the department, the agency, in terms of what they're looking for. And the reason I'm asking this, Melissa, is that I'm tracking a lot of approved budget, both in the state as well as in the county. So that said, I want to know whether, okay, this is being budgeted now. What's going to be? What is your mission? What are you looking for? Is this going to be especially if it is a big funding? So that's the reason why I asked if it is possible to meet the program people.
Okay. Understood.
So there's a question in the chat. Are companies able to submit projects for the county to consider based on new legislation recently approved?
So for something like that, what we would say, projects, it's kind of where I'm going to show you is not necessarily answering the can you submit projects. It's more of introducing yourself to different departments. So let me make sure I go to the right spot.
It's under new vendor, the vendor innovation portal.
I was about to say, I know it's on.
It's the first one.
There you go. Introduce your business. Sorry, blind today. So if you want to communicate with a department about an idea you have or projects or whatever, like you said, if something recently passed in legislation, you can go to the new vendor, click here, and it's called the vendor innovation portal, where you can provide your contact information and the scope of what you do or whatever. I can tell you at that point, if you want to submit something that way, okay. We don't, our office does not manage or promote or anything like that for unsolicited, contracts. But the operations level people in the departments are obviously more familiar with what the needs are, and if there's something new that came up, then it may be something that they have to take into consideration. What I'll say is, just because you send that doesn't mean that they are necessarily going to just be able to go with you if that's your idea. If it's something that you're saying, hey, this is something my company does and it's an idea for you, okay, but we still have a competitive expectation for any goods, services, or construction in the county. So just be aware of that. Just because you present it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a sole source contract. I'm putting that out there so it's a clear expectation set. Hope that answers that question.
Thank you. And just an aside, since this topic came up, we are hosting a Vendor Connection Summit on April 22nd at the Silver Spring Civic Building, and that's an excellent opportunity for all of you vendors to attend. There will be county departments at our event, so they'll have exhibit tables. You can talk to the county departments at the event. There'll also be local resource organizations, MFD certifying agencies, and then some prime contractors as well. So that's a great opportunity for you to meet some of these folks in person and ask them maybe what they're procuring and kind of do your elevator pitch in person. And I can show you, oh yeah, there he is, the calendar of events. That's our homepage. And the Vendor Connection Summit is on April 22nd. And that's where you can find our information about how to register. So the other question is, do you have any technology and training needs?
I would venture to say the likelihood is yes, somebody in the county has that. Who it lands with, I'm not sure. I know that HR handles a lot of training, but TEBS, I don't know their operational process, so maybe they have some training. I don't know if they do it in-house, etc. But I would assume the answer is yes, it's got to be somewhere in the county. However, if it's not currently active as a solicitation posted, or it's not currently on our radar through our projections, I don't know when that need may arise. So your best option is if you are not registered with the county yet, or even if you are, then go into CVRS and make sure that your registration is tagged with all of the commodity codes you're associated to, and that would be training, etc., stuff like that. Because what happens is, if you're registered as a business in our county vendor registration system and you tag certain commodity codes, what happens is, whenever we receive something from the department that's a new solicitation and we go to post it, then anybody under that commodity code, because they have to provide the commodity codes it's associated to, we take those, we plug it into the system, and anybody that has a tag for those commodity codes will automatically be notified of that opportunity. The key part here is, one, making sure that you've tagged all the commodity codes, but two, also making sure your county vendor registration information is up to date, because oftentimes what happens is somebody puts contact information in there for someone, a company puts contact information in there for someone, and then maybe that person leaves, or that person's not monitoring it, or whatever the case may be. So whoever it is you put in there as contact information, that's who's going to be notified. But so to answer your question, yeah, I know training needs exist across the county. I don't know specifics if it's not up there as an active posting or a projection, but that's your best option for being notified when something does come up.
And Melissa, I want to add on to that. I did put in the chat, there's at least 2 in the open solicitation list for training.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep, and I put their numbers in the chat, but they're the 2 that just popped out, but there probably is some more.
Yeah.
That is all the questions I see in the chat for now.
Okay. All right. So I So usually what I do after projection stuff is I'll just walk through the website in case anybody here is here for the first time, so y'all understand what resources are available to y'all already. But our main page, like Bethany said, you'll see our announcements, our calendar of events, and then we do record a lot of our open houses, but we also have recordings of different most of this is open houses. Yeah, but I mean, this goes back. But how to write effective proposals, like the different topics that we may have, it's all on here in case you miss one. So if you have questions or if you feel like you want to reach out to us, please come to our website. There may be answers here for you already, but we're happy to help in any way we can. About us, this gives you an understanding of our team, but and the different expectations or missions, so to speak, I guess, responsibilities of each of our divisions and solicitations, contracts. I went over the actual postings of these. Bid tabulations, this is just for anything that recently closed. We have to have it posted up here. So, and here's just the full list, but this is anything that's recent. Proposed awardees, once we receive recommendation of award from the departments and we go through our process to start towards the execution of a contract, proposed awardees are listed. This is where you'll find those. Contract search, this takes you to Data Montgomery. As I mentioned before, if you are looking for any particular contracts, this is a list of all of our contracts. You can search it. It'll tell you who the buyer is, what department it's with, etc. If you need documents, you will have to reach out to our MPIA group in order to obtain those. Again, through the MPIA process, there are steps that have to be followed relative to redaction, etc., of confidential information. So we do have to give the vendors an opportunity to identify if there's something that needs to be redacted, but we can get you information. IFBs aren't usually a problem. RFPs is where a lot of the confidential information issues come up. And compliance matrix, this is a matrix that Grace and her team put together to try and give a little bit of a summary to everyone on all of the different socioeconomic programs and what is applicable when, what the details are for it, etc. So this is a helpful snapshot of that. I think that was it. This one, yep. And then information on our local business programs, MFD and wage. This is all representative of Grace's business relations and compliance group and all of the programs that they run. So again, a lot of information here, especially if you're new to the county and trying to understand what works, what doesn't, how you're supposed to do something, what certifications, etc. A lot of information here, but I can tell you, I know that the program managers for each of these programs are happy to sit down and have a conversation with you to answer any questions. Going to vendor resources again, here's information about new vendors, making sure you register with the county. We talked about the VIP. General guidelines, this is just giving you a general, we have a pocket guide of how to do business with us. Existing solicitations, the projections. We do have something on here for our IFB and RFP workflow to give everyone a kind of a understanding of time frame, so to speak. It looks a little confusing. You have to sit down, read the legend, but it just walks you through the steps of our process and who's touching it when, what the estimated time frame is, etc. But there's one for IFBs and RFPs and general laws and policies, etc. Here's procurement how-to videos. Again, I guess all the most of the recent things are open houses, but we do have some other information in the back end. Trying to think. These are the additional associations, I guess you would call them, Grace, like the Maryland Business Center. It's resources to you that are not the county government, but an additional resource for businesses. So there's information to get to those. Reports, we have our annual reports and then our contact information. And I mentioned we do have a list of contract administrators and procurement specialists. So you can go to the contract administrators and this is their contact info for each of the department breakdown. And then you can look at our procurement specialist assignments. And it'll give you, if you're looking for a particular department, who it is that is dealing with that. You'll see that the larger departments, we have it broken down by division, and that's all just based off of volume and how we have to break things down. So that is more specific information for us. And here's your public information contact info for an email to request anything you need, but Sharonda's team heads that up. I'll stop again and see if there are any questions.
Can I make a note, Melissa?
Yes.
So I did put this in the chat, but I think it's important to state it out loud, is that this is going to look completely different in 5 days. So what she's going over is not going to look like this on the 20th. We are going through a revitalization of our website. We are doing everything in our power to make navigation easy. It is clean. We don't want you having to take a lot of time to find the information you're looking for. So the content will still be there, the functionality will still be there, but it's going to look very different from what you're seeing today. So just know this time next week, if you go to our website, the way that she showed you how to get to these various pages, instead of a horizontal navigation at the top, it's going to be left, but it's going to be still structured in the way that you see here. So it shouldn't be too different. But I did leave our phone number and an email address if you need any assistance navigating or if you're not finding what you need on the new site. So thank you.
Okay. Any other questions that were not answered yet? I'm looking at them now, and I think Karen's been on top of it.
I think most of the questions have been answered in the chat already, but if anyone wants to unmute or you can ask your question now, feel free to. We have about 9 minutes left.
Good morning. I have a question. So there's been some new legislation that has been passed and expected to be signed. And the question I have is, when you don't see the project that you are looking to bid on, can we submit a suggestion or project idea that the county may want to consider as a way of connecting business with the county?
So that goes back to what I was explaining about the VIP portal, the vendor. I'll pull it up again, just make sure I explain it. I guess I didn't fully explain it, but let me share it again. So the vendor innovation portal, this is an opportunity for you to provide your information to the county, and it's any department. You just put in your information, you choose what departments it is that you think it would fall under, that you would be doing business with. And I mean, I'd have to fill all of this out to keep going through the whole thing, but it just asks for
Are you sharing?
Yeah, oh, I thought I was. Hold on, sorry. I have to actually hit the share button after I choose the screen. I apologize about that. But so you would go through here, you would enter your information, you'd choose the departments that your services would be associated to, and then there's multiple steps in this. So you're able to provide them any information that you have. But it goes back to what I was mentioning before, that just understand, if you want to reach out to them and you want to provide them ideas, projects, whatever the case may be, doesn't necessarily mean, okay, I've presented this idea to you and now I get a contract, right? There's still an expectation of competition through the procurement process for any goods, services, or construction, unless a sole source justification per the procurement regs is established. So I'm just trying to make sure clear expectations are set that even if you may propose something, it does not mean it automatically goes to you. It can put it on their radar. They may be able to discuss it, and it may lead to a competitive procurement that obviously you would then be able to have an opportunity to respond to.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Yep. One other thing really quick that I wanted to note, there will be something that y'all, especially if you've done business with the county for quite a while, effective July 1st, we have a couple of things going on across the county and the state that is leading us to, well, we were already in the process of trying to update all of our documents, procurement documents. Part of that is the boilerplates for IFBs, RFPs, and informals. The deadline has now been set for us due to a specific process we're having to go through internally with the county and accessibility, but also a new state law that it has been passed relative to personal information and stuff like that. So I just want to give everybody a heads up that effective July 1, any solicitations that are posted on our website for IFBs, RFPs, and informals, they will have a different look. So just be aware of that. RFPs, all the content for the most part is going to be the same. I will tell you our general terms and conditions will have updates to it. That's something I'm working with county attorneys on. But IFBs is where you're going to see the biggest change probably. And our focus is not only taking into account the accessibility issues and the laws that we have to update the information for, but also trying to make a more efficient, straightforward, and clean document that is a consistent look across the county. It brings relative information to the front end of the document so that you can look through the meat of it and then read through all of the other exciting procurement jargon at the back end. If you end up thinking that that is an opportunity you want to pursue. But so I did want to just give y'all a heads up. July 1st, anything posted for IFB, RFP, or informals will look different. We don't have open solicitation boilerplates, but with those, the departments will be handling any updates to their documents. What we will contribute to the updates for that, though, is the general terms and conditions will be updated. So heads up, be aware of that. So if you suddenly see that things are in a different order, take your time, read through it. It'll be a new thing for everyone because nobody here has started using that yet. We're still trying to finalize the drafts for it, but it will be effective July 1. Other than that, I think that's all I have.
Any more questions? We have time for maybe one or two more questions.
Hi, quickly. My name is Judith Ross. I put it in the chat, but I'm wondering, are procurement policies being rewritten internally, or are you all issuing an RFP for that project task?
We're managing it internally.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions?
Yes, hello. This is Dr. Seema from Joyful Roots Chiropractic. Yes, I am trying to find, I appreciate your responses in the chat. I'm still trying to find the name of the human resources to potentially do a wellness contract with them. I can't find her name. I still can't. I'm listening. Is there a way that you can?
Well, you may have to do, there's a horizontal scroll on that page. The main page is only going to show you a small window of the frame. So there's a separate horizontal scroll that'll give you all the departments, but she's the only one under OHR.
Okay, I will find it. Thank you.
We can link it here.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe Karen answered it in the chat. It says Jennifer Shovlin.
Shovlin, yeah, but I can't. It brings me to a whole page.
Sharonda just posted it in the chat.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And somebody asked, will the recording be available? We will post it on our website. But just keep in mind, as Sharonda mentioned, the website will have a completely different look on April 20th. So please bear with us. If you can find all of our recordings on our YouTube page once we are able to upload those. So you can always find our recordings on our YouTube page, but we will also post them on the website. Just a plug for outreach events. As I mentioned earlier, we have an online open house the third Wednesday of every month from 10 to 11 a.m. We also post our events on our website. It's on our homepage of our website. There's a calendar of events in the middle. We have our big event, our April 22nd event, our Vendor Connection Summit. And that is an expo style event with exhibit tables. So it's basically 3 hours of networking. You can also attend our vendor registration workshop. So we mentioned our CVRS, County Vendor Registration System. So if you have not had a chance to register, you can come to an information session. You can bring your laptop and we will kind of walk everybody through that and all your documentation with you. You can bring that. And we hope to see you there. And it is now 11 o'clock. So we thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you at our Vendor Connection Summit and at our online open house events that are held every month. And we hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.